Good afternoon. Mental health is real, seek help, and the stigma. On the news this afternoon, RISEC set to go ahead with council election amid debt legal concerns. INEC warns political parties against early public campaigns. Police arrest suspected killers of lawyer in Port Harcourt. And on the foreign scene, protest in China over viral school bullying case. My name is Jude Omamegbe, and this is the news.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Good afternoon. We start off in Rivers State, where the Independent Electoral Commission, RISEC, says all political parties in the state have submitted the names of candidates who emerged from Saturday's primaries. The commissioner in charge of political party affairs, monitoring and security, Godfrey Woke, made this known in an interview with our correspondent Soibi Oruwari while speaking about the deadline given to political parties to submit successful candidates. Professor Woke also spoke about the monitoring of Saturday's primaries across the state.
First of all, the primary was very successful because we had 16 parties that went to local governments. We also sent our monitoring to the various local governments. The report they gave to us that most parties conducted their primaries, while some had to do their own on Sunday, which was yesterday. The implication of this is that at the end of today, we're expecting that all the political parties should be able to send the names of their elected chairmanship and councilorships.
Meanwhile, political scientist Dr. Obinna Wodim is urging RISEC to strictly follow due process or risk wasting the state's already strained resources. In an interview with correspondent Yukachi Wosu, Dr. Wodim, a lecturer at the University of Port Harcourt, warns that if the rules aren't followed, it is a disaster waiting to happen economically and politically.
The electoral management body should look at the electoral rules and play by the rules of engagement so that we don't get to a stage where all the processes, like we have seen in the past, will be a wasted venture. We are talking about scarce resources. Even those who are going to court, taking through the litigation process, they also are spending money to do all that. So if at the end of the day, elections are held and they are overturned by the court, it amounts to waste of the taxpayers' money.
Journalist Olalekan Ige agrees, warning that if the courts eventually annul the election as they did in October of 2024, over 3 billion naira could go down the drain.
We'll have wasted their money 2 times. We conducted the first one, and we're going to be conducting another one in August this year. That'll be huge loss of resources for the state, because if you check the amount that will be committed to conducting both elections, I don't have the figures, but I doubt that less than 3 billion will be spent on both elections. So just imagine if we have 3 billion in the coffers of Rivers State and what that can do, maybe to health, to education, to infrastructure, maybe to payment of salaries, maybe to scholarship, maybe to water, maybe to sanitation.
He, however, says it may be too early to determine the outcome of the court case against the conduct of the election because the signs aren't good. Already, a group known as the Initiative for Transparency and Good Governance has dragged the River State Sole Administrator, retired Vice Admiral Ibokete Ibas, RISEC, and others to court over the August 30th local government elections. Other civil society organizations are threatening legal action if RISEC pushes ahead. This comes amid a delayed 2025 state budget and expert warnings that the election may require fresh borrowing, despite Rivers State already owing about 364 billion naira in domestic debt and topping the list of Nigeria's most indebted states. Recall that the chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, recently advised state electoral bodies against issuing 21 days notice before elections are conducted. But RISEC insists it is only following the timetable issued by the former chairman of the commission, retired Justice Adolphus Enebili. To the Federal Capital Territory, where the Minister of the FCT, talking about Nyesom Wike, has denied knowledge of any consensus agreement between the River State chapters of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and the All Progressives Congress, APC. Recall that political parties held their primaries on Saturday across the state, with the candidates who emerged from both the PDP and APC said to be loyal to the former River State governor. Fielding questions during a chat with journalists yesterday, Wike assumed without conceding that such an alliance will strengthen the political peace in the state.
What's wrong an alliance that will bring peace in a state? Assuming, do not consider. Do you like where you'll be having problems? Would you not be happy that for once politicians can sit to say, look, let us not do the winner takes it all. If that is correct, then encourage them. But for now, I am not aware.
Moving on now, the convener of the Rivers Liberation Movement, Leonu Wibubasa, has disagreed with the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike over his claim that the River State Sole Administrator has the power to conduct the August 30th local government elections in the state. While reacting to comments made by Wike, Dr. Wibubasa said that the Sole Administrator has no legal powers to oversee democratic structures.
Continuous day is illegality, so every of his action is illegality. Continuous day of the sole administrator and all his actions, including the purported conduct of the local government election that has been completely disparaged by the INEC boss, that even the statutory 90 days that has to be given was not followed. And so we are in a country where impunity is reigning supreme, and it is unfortunate.
A professor of politics and governance, Kenneth Wike, also spoke on this.
For me, the FCT minister says the sole administrator has the right. Of course, that aligns with his own political interest. So what else will anyone expect from him other than support the sole administrator in the quest to actualize his own political interest? But for me, I do not also believe that the existence of the sole administrator is lawful, and I also believe that it is against the gun norm and exam laws to declare in the first instance a state of emergency in a state like ours and any other for that matter, and suspend all the democratic structure, including the executive arm and the legislative arm in the first instance.
On the issue of local government funds in the event of a state emergency extension, the professor said Wike should have raised his concern earlier if his intentions were truly genuine.
If local government funding is being on, even with the sole administrator and the emergency rule, then what would be wrong in 2 months that the governor comes back with assembly members? There is a whole bunch of illegality and shenanigans that are happening in Rivers State, and that, we must as a people, condemn when we need to condemn, irrespective of who is favoring today. Because as far as I'm concerned, history will remember everyone. History will remember everyone for whatever inaction we take, against the people of the state. Because as far as I'm concerned, rushing to conduct local government election is an act to build a structure which the federal will have.
On Monday, the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike said the current administration in Rivers has to conduct local government elections. According to the minister, the president, from his understanding, does not intend to extend the emergency rule currently in place. He questioned how local government funds would be accessed if the emergency rule is extended.
I heard you quoting Supreme Court judgment. Who went to court over that Supreme Court judgment? It was we. Asked INEC during that matter, what was their position in court? The president, in his wisdom, to bring peace and restore democratic governance in local government, came again with another regulation, which was signed in July, that this election must be conducted within 30 days because the president, from my understanding, does not want to extend the emergency rule, because extending the emergency rule will not be palatable to the people. But then if you don't do local government election and then you leave the emergency rule, how will local government now access funds?
Well, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has warned political parties against launching early public campaigns for the 2027 general election. The chief press secretary to the INEC chairman, Mr. Rotimi Oyekomi, issued the warning during an interview with journalists in Abuja. He said such actions violate the Electoral Act. Oyekomi, he stated that the INEC has not yet released the official timetable for the election. Well, still to come, police arrest killers of lawyers in Port Harcourt. Stay tuned.
Allow us to save you the stress.
Afternoon. Welcome once again to the Major News. My name is Jude or Mamigbe, and if you didn't catch the very first part, need not to worry. We'll have a quick recap when we're done. But for now, we'll continue with the former presidential candidate and human rights activist Omoyele Sowore. He has faulted the rotational presidency in Nigeria. Sowore said this while speaking on the channel's television interview. He said the country should be interested in a president who will run Nigeria better, irrespective of his region. Presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the last election, Peter Obi, has defended his pledge to serve only a single 4-year term if elected president in 2027. In a statement posted on X on Tuesday, Obi dismissed criticism, labeling his vow as desperate and unrealistic. Obi said his commitment to serve for just one term stems from a deep desire to rebuild Nigeria and not personal ambition. Meanwhile, some residents of Port Harcourt have defended Labour Party chieftain Peter Obi over backlash from a resurfaced 2002 video where he vowed never to leave the All Progressive Grand Alliance APGA. Speaking in an interview with our correspondent, they said switching parties is normal when one's political vision no longer aligns with the party's direction. They advised his critics to focus on capacity to deliver rather than expecting permanent loyalty in politics.
Political party system is like a church, and they say if the church does not change, you change the church. And Peter Obi is a man of integrity, and if the condition and the operation of the party does not support his politics as a politician, he has every right to change. Switching party is normal.
It's not a crime. Many people did it, and the party is not what we are looking for. What we are looking for is a good leader that will lead us. So if Peter Obi will win in Labour Party, if you go to Labour Party, we will vote for him to win. for him to rule us well. Where you are saying before, you don't like the place, you will leave that place.
For me, I think it's just a normal thing, and it's very okay for politicians to switch parties, especially when their interests no longer aligns.
Away from that now, the Rivers State Police Command says all those suspected to be involved in the killing of one lawyer, Bright Owo, have been identified and apprehended. The lawyer was killed by gunmen on the 6th of July. Spokesperson of the command in a statement named the suspects as a 30-year-old Prince Samuel, 25-year-old Daniel Godwin, who was the driver, 24-year-old Henry Peter, who was the arms supplier, and the one who shot the victim. 30-year-old Godfrey Emmanuel, who was the gang leader, 34-year-old Chukwu Naji, 27-year-old Justice Dinkpa, and 27-year-old Promise Wikere. The statement said the suspects confessed to being cult members and their roles in the crime, including the withdrawal of funds from the victim's account and their involvement in recent cult-related violence in Jobu, Port Harcourt. Rivers State Sole Administrator, retired Vice Admiral Ibokete Ibas, says the reintegration of Port Harcourt into the World Energy Cities Partnership (WECP) will unlock transformative economic opportunities, attract foreign investment, and solidify the city's standing in the global energy arena. Administrator Ibas said this when he hosted a delegation from the Society of Energy Editors at the Government House, Port Harcourt. While expressing satisfaction with formal recognition of Port Harcourt as Nigeria's premier energy city by the society, Administrator Ibas said his administration is fully committed to rebranding Rivers State and transforming Port Harcourt into an international energy hub.
And now,
to the world of business now. The federal government has approved the promotion of 30 controllers of corrections to the rank of Assistant Controller General ACG of Corrections in the Nigeria Correctional Service, NCOS.
On 92.3.
And to entertainment now. The launch of Big Brother Naija Season 10 has once again brought attention to the show's rated 18 content and its potential influence on young viewers. Speaking in an interview in Port Harcourt, parents are reacting in different ways to how the show fits into their households. Some parents say they allowed their teenagers to watch the show, but are only under supervision. On the other hand, a number of parents say they take a stricter approach as they believe that the show is inappropriate for teens. To sports now. Some residents of Port Harcourt have expressed concern that that real national achievements, such as the recent international victory by Nigeria's women's basketball team, the Tigress, no longer receives the widespread celebration it once inspired among Nigerians. As you may know, last night, the federal government rewarded the Tigress, Nigeria's female basketball team, with Order of the Niger, OON, national honors, with each of the players getting $100,000 and a flat following their historic fifth consecutive victory at the 2025 FIBA Women's Afrobasket Championship. Members of the coach Rihanna Makama-led technical team also got $50,000 each. This was announced when President Bola Tinubu, who was represented by the First Lady Remi Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima, hosted the team. But in interviews with our correspondent, several residents said the accomplishments like the Tigress are now often overshadowed by entertainment shows and social media trends.
To me, people are now more interested in entertainment than achievement. Some parents, they don't even have time to go and sit down and be watching sports because of the situation of the country. I prefer to sit down and watch what will make me laugh, enjoy myself, and forget my story.
I believe and I think Big Brother is trending more because it's something everyone knows happens every year. Everything is an achievement instead of hype for Big Brother.
People's interest have shifted because of the economy. So the economy has affected a lot of Nigerians, and someone that is hungry, you don't expect him to go and start celebrating, soccer, unlike before. Entertainment should not surpass soccer achievement or trophies.
Well, others warn that a continued lack of attention for such feats could discourage participation in other sports aside football and stifle the next generation of talent. And finally, on the international scene, a school bullying incident in southern China has sparked a series of protests and calls for more justice for the 14-year-old victim. A video of a girl being slapped, kicked, and forced to kneel by 3 other minors went viral in the Jiangsu city in Sichuan province last week. Well, that was the news this afternoon, but before we depart, a quick recap. On the news this afternoon, you heard that RISEC is set to go ahead with council elections amid debt legal concerns. INEC has warned political parties against early public campaigns. The police have arrested suspected killers of a lawyer in Port Harcourt. And on the foreign scene, there is protest in China over viral school bullying case. The news was edited by Onyekachi Wosu. To reach the news team, please send an SMS or WhatsApp message to 0808-721-7215. My name is Jude Omamigbe. Thank you for listening and good afternoon.